Welcome to the Aging Wheels State of the Fleet Address for March 2024. I've got some bad news about the bus. Well, maybe. You may not care at all. The Lada. Not much has changed with the Lada in the past year, except that I've now sold it. I've only been saying I need to sell it for about a year. I started the process to list it on Cars and Bids, and then one day later I got a message from someone who said, "Hey, do you still have the Lada? I think I might want to buy it." Someone by the name of Car Wizard. I'm gonna miss this thing. It's something I would say if I liked it more, which I don't, which is why I'm gonna sell it. Goodbye, Lada. Turkey interlude. Say hi. You're the reason I can't film at my house anymore. A couple months ago, it got real cold outside, and when that happened, it dropped below freezing inside the shop. And when that happened, the Robin spontaneously lost some of its coolant. I haven't touched it since then, so I'm going to pull it outside now, start it up, and see if it's still leaking coolant, or if that was just a weird cold temperature thing. I fully expect it to be leaking. Shut up, Turkey. I fully expect it to be leaking. I'm going to start it up. First time I've started it in months. It's reliable in some ways. Not leaking so far. Let's take it for a ride. Shut up, Turkey. Anybody want a turkey? One thing I remember every time I get in this car after I haven't driven it for a while is how amazing the shifter is. It's the best shifter I think I've used on any car. Well, I guess it isn't leaking coolant, for now anyway. I haven't driven this too much in the past year, but I have driven it more than I did the Trabant, unfortunately. I haven't driven the Trabant enough. I haven't started this in who knows how long. Let's see if the battery even has charge to it. I expect quite a bit of cranking to get it to actually start. It's fully choked. Come on. Oh, almost. Almost. Yes! Blow those cobwebs out. I had to turn around. There was a school bus I was stuck behind, and I didn't want to give a whole busload of children lung cancer. So I turned around and I'm going back the other way. Just like last year, because I've barely driven it in the last year, I need either a new master cylinder or the master cylinder that it has rebuilt because the seals are leaking and the brake pedal slowly goes to the floor. And that's about it. There's some other lingering jobs that I haven't done on the Trabant, but they're nothing new. Like, some of the wiring is a little bit iffy, and I think one of the rear wheels needs a new wheel bearing. I should probably touch up the brake, or have the brake drums, I can't think, have the brake drums rehoned. But otherwise, Trabant just continues to work. Hey, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Normally in an ad read for BetterHelp, the presenter will espouse the benefits of therapy. They'll say something like, maybe you've been struggling with depression, you've just had a big change in your life, you just need someone to talk to, etc., etc. But I'm not going to do that for a couple of reasons. For one, the benefits of therapy are kind of a given at this point, aren't they? I mean, generally speaking, people know that you don't have to be a psychopath to see a therapist. Therapy is for everyone. But more importantly, BetterHelp didn't invent therapy. What they did was create a platform that makes getting connected with and continuing to see a therapist as friction-free as possible. My first experience with therapy years ago was an in-person visit. Finding the therapist was difficult. I had to search online for a therapist in much the same way one would search online for a plumber. And once I finally did track down a therapist within a reasonable driving distance, they were terrible. And because of the friction involved with finding that therapist in the first place, I didn't look for another one after that, until a couple years later when I decided to give BetterHelp a shot. BetterHelp was easy to sign up for. I signed up on my phone in a parking lot, and after a brief questionnaire and a little bit of waiting, I was matched with a therapist. This therapist was not within a reasonable driving distance, but it didn't matter this time because BetterHelp hosted the sessions online. I ended up getting matched with a great therapist on the first try, but even if I didn't, BetterHelp makes it very easy to find a new therapist. In addition, BetterHelp offers many other benefits over traditional in-person therapy, like online journaling, which you can then send to your therapist if you want to, and the ability to send your therapist a message at any time. I particularly enjoyed the online journaling feature because sometimes all I needed to do was stream of consciousness, write it all out. Then, if I so desired, I could send off my scrambled ramblings to my therapist and have them try to make sense of it all. If you want to give therapy a try and you want the easiest and best way to do it, why not give BetterHelp a shot? Go to betterhelp.com/agingwheels or select Aging Wheels at sign up to receive a special discount off your first month of therapy. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. The Polestar is dirty. Look, there was a long line at the car wash and it's going to be on screen for like 30 seconds, so just deal with it. It continues to be amazing and I continue to take it absolutely everywhere. I got this car brand new in May of 2022 and it has 71,000 miles on it now. Specifically, I'm at 71,582 miles, which is 21,582 miles out of warranty, and I haven't had any issues with it. Very recently, and I mean 2 days ago, I started fiddling with this car using a third-party diagnostic software called Orbit. I connected this car, changed some configurations around, and now I have adaptive cruise, auto steer, and matrixing headlights. The adaptive cruise and auto steer was part of the pilot package that this car does not have, but it has all the hardware for it. I just enabled it via software. So now I have those wonderful convenience features. And the matrixing headlights are disabled on all cars in the US market because of regulations. I turned them on. I have full matrix headlights now. I'll be making a detailed update at the 2-year mark in May, so look forward to that. The Coda is dead. I know. Unfathomable. This famously reliable car of mine is dead? Back in December, I went to drive this thing. I turned the key on and got a red vehicle fault light. Rather than do any proper diagnosis or anything, I took the easiest path first, which was unplug the 12-volt battery, wait a bit, and then plug it back in, just to give it a soft reset. First of all, didn't work, still had a red vehicle fault light. But also, when I did that, it exhibited some new behaviors that I've never seen before. When I plugged in the battery, it flashed the reverse lights, did some other weird things, but most importantly, it stuck the accent lights on, which killed the 12-volt battery overnight. That was back in December. It is March now, so I bought a new 12-volt battery. I'm going to put that in now and see if the vehicle fault light will go away. Got it. Hi. Out with the old. Plugging in positive. Now. That's the new behavior that I was talking about. I don't remember seeing that before. I could also just be misremembering. Let's try to start it and see that, ow, I just bumped my knee, and see that it still faults. Because of course it will. Ready? Well, yeah, okay. Let's actually try to start it. And nothing happens because there's a red vehicle fault light. Cool. Maybe mouse damage. I don't know. And look, this light's still on. I'm going to unplug the 12-volt battery so don't kill another one. Those are not cheap. Well, that was disappointing, but not unexpected. I have all of the diagnostic tools, spare parts, etc. to work on this and make it go again, but I just have to carve out time to do it. I need a few days in a row. I'll get to it at some point. Not a huge priority right now. The Polski Fiat. It's over here in this sad corner because last year I bought too many cars and didn't sell any. So it's over here in this sad corner because I'm out of room. But I'm getting rid of the Lotta soon, so it can go back into the main building. Anyway, about 3 months ago, I was driving this thing around, and under acceleration, it started to cut out. Very violently cut out. And as I continued to drive around, it got worse and worse and worse until I got home and tried to start it up again, and it won't start at all now. Rather than do proper diagnostics, I took the throw parts at it approach. I ordered a new carburetor and a new fuel pump. New carburetor to hopefully fix whatever fuel delivery issue I have, and new fuel pump because I noticed the old one had a leaking check valve. I did put an inline check valve after the old fuel pump, but I figured, hey, why not? I'm just going to order another fuel pump. These parts were not very expensive, but these are not the new parts. These are the old parts. Last night I installed the new carburetor. There it is, and a new fuel pump. There it is. I left the old check valve on there, but fuel pump, carburetor. Now let's see if it starts. I've hooked up a jumper to my clearly dead battery. Let's see if I can start it. That sound makes me very happy. Well, that turned less awesome real quick. Oh no! Okay, now I did some poking around. I feel kind of dumb for thinking that was oil being pumped out. It was gas. A fuel line popped off right there. And we're off! Looks like a new carburetor did the trick. Nice whistling. I probably didn't need to put a new fuel pump on it, but it's got a new fuel pump now. I did have to replace that fuel line. I removed that check valve that was unnecessary and probably causing issues. I put a new battery in the front, which was difficult to find a replacement for because the part number was a Polish part number. But I got all that done, and now it's driving around now. I got my Polski Fiat back. I haven't driven this thing in like 4 months. And that's what you call celebrating too soon. I need to stop somewhere that isn't a blind hill and get out and look at it. It's okay. Please stop. Why are you doing this? Please stop this. Is this ignition or is this fuel? It's so annoying. I'm just gonna limp it home. I don't have time to diagnose this today, so this will have to wait. Oh my God, please stop this. This is infuriating. Please, Polski. I should probably put my hazards on. Please stop! Please stop this. This is exactly what it did with the old carburetor. Well, that didn't work. If you have any guess as to why it's cutting out violently like it's doing when I go anywhere near the throttle, I'm all ears. And also feel free to make fun of me for my throw parts at it and hope it works approach. Although, in my defense, I did eliminate 2 variables, so there's that. For added context, it idles just fine too. And yes, I still have the Twike. No, I don't use it very much. Around my house, there are 2 kinds of roads. There's either roads with very large hills or roads with very high speed limits, neither of which is suitable for the Twike. So I don't have really any place to use this comfortably, so I haven't been using it. This is my 2012 F-150. I've always had a 2012 F-150. I've never had any other F-150. Oceania has always been at war with Eurasia. Look, this is my 2006 F-150 that was handed down to me from my grandpa, and it's in a poorly state now. In last year's fleet update, I told you how it was starting to rust, and I mentioned the transmission was slipping. Well, turns out the transmission was not slipping, it's actually misfiring, which shows how terrible I am at diagnosing. I tried the easy stuff first, coil and plugs, although in this engine, plugs is not an easy thing, and I'm out of ideas and it still misfires. In 2013, my grandma bought this pickup new with some hail damage for a discount, and she used it for approximately 3 things. Occasionally, the road in front of her house floods, so she wanted a tall vehicle to be able to get her out when that happens. Occasionally, it snows, like once or twice a year in Missouri, so she wanted 4-wheel drive. And occasionally, she wants to haul 5-gallon cans of gasoline and bags of mulch. So F-150. Is this truck massive overkill for all those needs? Absolutely, but she's 90, she can do what she wants. Mostly this just sat there. She put maybe 5,000 miles on it over a decade. So when my pickup started acting up, I asked her, hey, would you be interested in selling your pickup? And being my grandma, she said no. But I will give it to you. And I feel like any amount of gratitude I could express would not be enough for all of this. So yeah, that's why I have a second F-150. I was already borrowing this pretty regularly. One, because I was starting to not be able to trust my pickup, but also she wanted someone to put miles on it because it was mostly just sitting at her house. And now it has 27,000 miles on it, which is not much for 12 years of existence, but it's substantially more than she put on it. I mean, I just drove to California and back in this thing. So because I have another pickup to use, this just sits here. I let the license lapse, the 12-volt battery is dead. It's just sitting here, collecting more rust and continuing to probably misfire. I haven't run it in a long time, so I don't know. I would imagine it still has the issue. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I will do something with it eventually. I don't know what that is, but for now, it's just going to sit here. It's just going to continue to sit here. And in case you're curious, XLT 2012 four-wheel drive, I believe 353 gearing in the back. It's pretty tall gearing, and 5-liter V8. I still have the Explorer. It's just sitting here in my driveway, doing nothing. I did not buy an Electromechanica Solo. I bought 2 of them. If you have any familiarity with Electromechanica and their Solos, these 2 are different. These are G1 Solos. The main production Solos were G2 and G3s. Those are also the ones with the safety recall and the buyback. I don't know if any G1 Solos made it to public sale, but these 2 definitely did not. I am legally the first owner. I didn't get these cars with titles. I got them with MSOs. First of all, if you've ever driven a Solo, remember what the interior looked like. Now look at the interior of this one. Completely different, as well as all of the components: motor, controller, BMS, charger, DC to DC, screen, interior. All of those components are different between the main production Solos and these 2 that I have. These have about 25 horsepower more than the production version. They're actually quite nippy. Fun fact about this Solo in particular, the windshield wiper doesn't work. The relay's clicking, but ain't no wiping happening. This is Solo number 38 from 2018, and the red one is Solo number 50 from 2019, very early 2019. And they don't have air conditioning. The production Solos had air conditioning, these don't. This one doesn't even have the switch to turn the fan on, so it's roasting in here. And oh my God, they're so much fun. I love driving these things around. These have been my main cars for the past 2 weeks since I brought them home. That's all for now. I'll have the full video telling you everything you want to know about my 2 Solos coming soon, so look forward to that. All right, I'm calling it. The Escape project is officially stalled. I have not made significant progress on this project in several months, and there's 3 big reasons for this, but we'll start with the big distracted elephant in the room: me. Put very simply, big project plus ADHD make motivation go. I say that mostly so the next 2 holdups I'm about to tell you don't sound like excuses. I'm fully aware of the me portions holding this up. You may remember the battery cooling plates I made in one of the previous episodes of the Escape project. It was very expensive laser cut aluminum held together with epoxy. A lot of you in the comments, and frankly myself, doubted whether or not epoxy could truly hold these cooling plates together, and it cannot. A couple of months after I made these, I made 6 of them. I leak tested all of them, and 4 of them leaked. So I have to scrap all these cooling plates and start over. I'm in the middle of that process now. I've redesigned new cooling plates that are going to be held together not with epoxy, but with rivets and RTV. You'll see how that turns out in the next installment of the Escape project. At the tail end of, I think it was the last installment of the Escape project, I ended the video with very excitedly getting the front motor to spin up. That was the last and only time I've ever gotten either motor to spin. I cannot get the VCU to work. I've been working with the company back and forth, on and off for the past 3 months. I cannot get it to work. I can't even get it to close contactors now. That's all I'm comfortable saying for now because I haven't figured out what the issue is. It very well could be that my issue with the VCU isn't the VCU. I could be doing something wrong, but I haven't figured out what the problem is yet, so I don't know. I hope I figure it out pretty soon though, because this is not being able to get this to work is the most demotivating holdup I've had on this entire project. The WeGo! Nothing has changed. There's some mouse prints in the dirt on the windshield. That's new, I guess. I'm thinking about quitting the bus project. I was going to say giving up on, but quitting sounds more purposeful, even though it's exactly the same thing. Let me explain why. Reason number 1, it's likely fairly obvious, but I'm going to explain it anyway. Also, I'm going handheld for this one, so forgive me if my face tracking is off. I'm trying to look at the lens, not the face. Anyway, what was I saying? This is already falling apart, isn't it? I don't know when I'm going to find the time to work on this thing. The last segment of the bus project that I worked on took me 2 months, and that was without taking a break in the middle. That was just head down. I spent 2 months working on the bus project segment and the video. The video takes about half the time. 2 months, and what did I achieve after that 2 months of work? Just this wall. This one wall, yes, it was a lot of work, but only one wall from 2 months of work. I still have the entire other wall, this roof cavity to fill in, the entire interior to make, the back wall, and I want to electrify it, and I have to do something about the back deck. Build a way to load cars on the back. I don't know when I'm going to find time for any of that. I barely found time to do just this one wall here. I'm already struggling to find time to work on this guy here while still keeping up with a semi-regular video output schedule. Last year, I worked on the Twike a bunch, and that took me 6 months because I had to keep stopping the project to work on another video, or go on a trip, or work on another project. I didn't work on this continuously, and the result was it took me like half a year. Reason number 2, and this is the much bigger reason, I don't want the end result anymore. I don't want to drive a giant bus around. I've never wanted to drive the giant bus around as it was with the diesel engine powertrain. That's why I wanted to electric swap it, to make it more drivable. But you know what would make it even more drivable than that? If it was a pickup with a trailer. I don't need living quarters with me. I don't need this giant bed on the back. I don't need a bathroom or a place to sleep all on the inside. When I started this project, the prospect of building out a completely custom RV from the ground up was really exciting. I would think about this and plan it endlessly in my head, but now I don't. I've lost interest in that aspect. I mean, heck, I started this project 5 years ago now. And you might think, isn't it a little bit late to be deciding this? And no. While the overall big project is nowhere near completion, each video that I've put out working on this bus has been, in my head, its own discrete project with its own discrete conclusion, its own discrete satisfying conclusion. So I've gotten satisfaction out of this project, even though it's not anywhere near done. And because I'm a YouTuber and make money from the videos, I'm in the unique position where stopping a huge project like this in the middle of it would not be a huge financial loss. And I'm fully okay with just giving up. I mean, how many people do you know with a someday project in their backyard? Sometimes it's okay to just give up, to say to yourself, you know what? I can't do this. That said, I haven't fully decided whether or not I'm going to give up on this bus project just yet. I have to admit it's a very pleasing thought at the moment, but I might change my mind in a month or two. So I'm going to spend some time thinking about it before I act on it. If I do give up on the bus project, what I'll be doing is dismantling this. I'll be giving away the big parts like the engine, transmission, axles, whatever to anyone that wants it, and the rest of the bus, you know, the body and all the metal stuff, I'll be dragging to a scrapyard. But in the meantime, because this isn't just my project, it's a shared project on the internet, I want to know, what do you think about this? Would you be okay with me dropping the bus project? Would you be incredibly disappointed? Would you be angry? Do you not care either way? Let me know in the comments. Until I fully decide though, I'm going to consider this project dead, so I don't have to worry about it, so the weight of this big looming project gets lifted and I can focus on the other smaller projects they have. And the big one, which is the Escape. Because a lot of the reason, a lot of the motivation that I have for wanting to stop working on this bus project, aside from the things that I've already mentioned, is mental decluttering. And that's the end of the fleet update. If I had to sum up everything you just watched into one sentence, it would be, I'm overwhelmed. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching.